Good afternoon. Ooh. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Sunil T, Masala Radio 98.7. You're enjoying Shweta. Lovely day. I want to wish everybody a very, very happy Raksha Bandhan. Such an auspicious day. It starts the festival season in India and for Indo-Americans all across the world. I don't know if I'm Indo-American or American of Indian descent. I certainly am American of Indian descent. Served in the American Army, very proud of this country. India is my motherland, but this is my home. The reason why I love this country and the reason why everybody loves this country so much and everybody comes to the US is because it's such a great country. Amazing culture. Everybody is blending in together and the systems and policy and the structure is probably the best in the world. Now, why? Who makes our systems and our structure and the laws and the policies? Are elected officials. Therefore, we all must elect carefully. We must choose carefully, choose wisely, and choose and elect and vote, because it's not just your right, it's not just a thing you do, but it's what that vote that you do is what makes our country great. Because a lot of other countries, you vote, but that vote doesn't really matter because, who's winning? Nobody knows who's winning, who's losing. Your vote is just a vote. But here, your vote is not just a vote. It actually it has implications, and we're going to make our country even better. Not just country, but our state and our county and our precinct 3. It's going to be the most amazing precinct in the entire country. We have in the studio, very, very blessed to have our precinct 3, our current precinct 3 commissioner, Andy Meyers, and his team, Dennis Spellman and Nikita Khambe. Welcome to the studio. Welcome to Masala Radio 98.7. Before I talk to the commissioner, I wanted to just hear from you, Nikita, and from you, Dennis. We're going to have a word with Commissioner, and there's so many questions I have for the Commissioner. But let me just welcome Commissioner. Commissioner, welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
And such a pleasure having you here.
My pleasure to be here.
And I want to thank you for really, truly, from your heart. Nobody can do this over 27 years. You must have it in your heart. You must have devotion and service in your heart. And not just let me just do this, but sort of it is part of your DNA. I don't know when it happened. I don't know when you saw that this is what I want to do and this is my call. I'm just glad that it happened, and I'm glad you're a commissioner.
Thank you. My pleasure, sir.
Dennis Spellman and Nikita Khambe, both of you are on his team. Mm-hmm. And he's an extraordinary gentleman. Every time I meet him, I just feel like there's so much that I can learn from him. And what have both of you learned being on his team? There are other people on the team too, but the most vocal, the most integral part, core team is right here. Nikita Khambe and Dennis Spellman. So Dennis, tell me about your interactions with him and some of the things that he does that you're like,
Okay. Oh, well, there's a couple of other people on the team that aren't here.
Okay.
So we want to
Let's give them a shout out, yeah.
Olga Gutierrez and also Andrew Van Chow, who's the chief of staff. And so that makes up the team. It's a very small team. And we
But a very involved team.
Yeah, very involved.
I talked to Nikita, I talked to you.
Small team with big brains.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I was a reporter.
Active team.
I was a reporter before I did this, and you wanted me to tell you how I met Commissioner Meyers. This goes back 10 years ago when I first met him. And what I really liked about when I'd go to do an interview with Commissioner Meyers, when his district included Katy and Fulshire, I'd go to ask him a question about one thing, and I'd come away learning so much about so many different things and how knowledgeable he was. And we'd just sit there and talk, and I'd take notes and just learn. I always felt like I learned much more than I came there to find out about for any particular story. But what also makes him interesting is that he, as long as he's been doing this for 27 years, he didn't start off as a politician. He didn't want to be a politician. He didn't get involved in politics right out of college. That isn't what he always wanted to do. He had a career where he learned things. He was a real estate developer. He's an accountant.
Interesting.
He worked for Oxy. That's one of the things that I find the most fascinating, in finding locations where they could build plants and locate plants. So he knows from the corporate side what it takes to attract employers here. He knows that firsthand. So when he talks about taxes needing to be low, he talks about that from real life experience. He knows what we need to do to bring employers here that pay well and hire people with high education, people who've been to college, gotten master's degrees, doctorates. He knows what it takes to bring them here, more so than anybody else on Commissioner's Court. And so, you know, there's just, Andy's a problem solver. One of the things that I'm amazed by is his ability to look at a problem and then you see the wheels turning. You see the wheels turning, and the next thing you know, he has a solution, and I think that's what makes him tick.
And he's been doing it for so long. Nikita, your experience working with Commissioner. And every time we've talked, you're so passionate about him, and you're like, you know, Commissioner Meyers, he's such a unique gentleman, and whatever you say, whenever you represent him so well. So what is it about him that convinces you?
It has been my honor, you know, to represent him in the community and in the county, Precinct 3 especially. This is my 7th month working with him, and since day one, you know, we've been learning new things. He's very approachable. We don't have walls, you know, I can just go into his office, ask him a question, and he will sit down and explain things to me, because I mean, I understand, you know, I'm educated, I have experience, but I don't have, I don't know everything about how the county runs. And there are questions in my mind as a homeowner, as a mother, you know, as an Indian American. I represent Indian American community at
Our community,
many
you do.
platforms,
Yeah.
yes. So, you know, I get questions from the community and I bring to him sometimes. And yes, he's willing to meet people, answer them, and I think he is the only elected official that you will see attending so many Indian events.
And it's not just attending Indian events. I was really surprised. I was on stage and I saw him talk to people at Holi, and I realized that this is somebody that knows his job. He is doing a job. We have elected him,
Right.
and we have elected him to represent us.
Yeah.
And to make our county, our precinct 3 even better, laws, policies, budgets, whatever. But I saw him talking to everybody. And this is not the county that was 30 years ago. The county has grown.
He
it's
takes
more
service
complex.
to the different levels.
Yeah.
Let me say that. Yes, definitely. I have never seen a politician work like him. You know, I mean, we come from India, and back home we have a different.
Yeah,
you know,
politics back
perspective of
home
politicians
is
and how,
different.
Yes, exactly. They're more like celebrities. They don't talk to people.
Yeah.
Very unapproachable. But no, here it's different, and especially Commissioner Meyers. He is very down to earth gentleman, you know, like you mentioned earlier.
And somebody typically after 27 years would be like, you know what, I got this, I know what I'm doing. If they don't come meet me, they can come meet me. But he really, truly, and I think that is such a big part of being
He keeps
being a representative.
adding. Yes, he has new ideas every day, and he works on them. They're not just ideas, you know. He makes sure we convert those ideas into actions, and he implements everything that he thinks of. And it has been, like I said, wonderful working with him. There's so much learning, and I'm just blessed to serve the community through this office.
Through this art, you have served the community. 27 years. Dennis, before I talk to Commissioner, 27 years does bring you sort of a sense of, it's like, you know so much.
Yeah,
And the county's become so much more complex.
You know so much, and you know who to reach out to get things done. I mean, the connections that Commissioner Meyers has at the local level, the regional level, the state level. When there are problems, he can meet with the right people, and he's built the trust with them. So if he needs to get something accomplished, there was a bill that was about to be passed in the legislature that was going to cause a problem for the county, an unintended problem for the county. And the commissioner went up to Austin and met with the people who were charged with passing that bill, and just said, "Hey guys, there's this unintended consequence. We need to have you fix it," and they did. But the other thing is that I notice about Commissioner Meyers is that it always comes back to doing the right thing for the people. There's never been a compromise. You know, some people are in office, and over time they make a little compromise here and a little compromise there, and
Or you get really comfortable.
yeah.
And people need to come meet me, they can come meet me.
That's not the way it is. He's always stuck to what's right. You know, doing the right thing.
That's awesome. Commissioner Meyers, welcome, Commissioner Meyers.
Thank you.
Hi. When I met you and you were there, you know, Dennis, you were there, Nikita, you were there, I met you. I heard the word family so much. I heard the word family. You know what you are, what we represent here and you said family values, and family is so important. So I know you played a big role making Fort Bend County a family-friendly place. And why did you say the word family? I think you probably said 5 times something about family values, and family is important. It's really family. Why is that so important to you?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. And first, I want to wish everybody a happy Ruksha Vanda.
Yes.
And
yes,
also
yes.
congratulate India for landing its spacecraft on the south pole of the moon. First time that's ever occurred.
What an amazing
So what
everybody.
an amazing feat.
Yeah,
So
and then-
congratulations to the entire nation.
Thank you. It's
You know, one of the things that I did the same thing that most of your listeners did. I moved to this community because I'm looking for a family-friendly, safe community for my family, and I've been fortunate to have been able to play a key role in making it a family-friendly and a safe community and keeping it that way. For example, when I first got here, I used to work on 610, and I'd travel 59 every day, and I kept noticing these topless places that keep popping up and moving.
on I-10.
But, well,
yeah,
I-10
yeah.
and 59,
Yeah.
they kept getting closer and closer to Fort
Yeah,
Bend.
yeah.
So I said, look, that's not a very family-friendly establishment at all. So I want to make certain that we did something about it. So one of the very first things I did in the late 1990s was I managed to get our Commissioners Court to pass a sexually oriented business ordinance that essentially established you can't ban a legitimate legal business in the state of Texas, and they are a legal business, but you can restrict their locations, and so
You cannot ban it, but you can restrict it.
we can restrict
The
their
locations.
yes. And so by restricting their locations, we end up with a situation where there's really none of those establishments that are in Fort Bend County. And then it didn't end there. In its last legislative session, as Dennis has already alluded to, there was a bill that was going through that was going to eliminate the county's ability to basically create an ordinance like a sexually oriented business ordinance. It was an unintended consequence because they didn't realize that they were going to end up eliminating the ordinances against sexually or regulate sexually oriented businesses. So I went up to Austin, explained everything to them, and got them to take that particular provision out of the bill, so that we still maintain that sexually oriented business ordinance, and that prevents those firms from those operations from locating here. So the other thing that I was very
Family value, family.
And it's not just what goes on with the sexually oriented business, it's really more so what that brings with it. It always brings with it some crime.
Yeah.
If everything was contained within those buildings, it would be one thing, but it tends to bring crime with it.
Yeah.
And that's really what the commissioner's concerned about, the overall effect.
And the other thing I wanted to make certain is we had a safe community. And I pioneered and I expanded what we have is our contract deputy program, where we are able to expand the number, increase the number of patrol by over 100 additional patrol officers by entering into agreements with our subdivisions, our HOAs, our homeowner associations, and other organizations, to basically for them to pay for a patrol officer for simply their neighborhood. So we were able to add a lot more law enforcement patrol on the streets we would not have ordinarily. So that's a major plus.
And this is also a challenge now as we're growing, is that we're growing in our people. There's more and more people coming in to our county and to Precinct 3. We need.
Yeah, and over the last couple of years, we've had, unfortunately, we've had a major vacancies in our sheriff's office with regard to law enforcement. And I asked my sheriff, what's our problem? And he said, well, I don't think we can pay them enough. So I proposed that we conduct a compensation study to determine whether or not we're actually paying these people the right amount. turned out.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Turned out.
So then we know whether we are on scale with
Right.
on
Exactly.
par with other counties.
And we were a little under, so we were able to give all our first responders a nice increase in pay.
That's great.
In
That's
addition,
about 16%.
Oh, it went up 16%.
Yes,
Right.
yeah.
Wow. So
Very
16% for the first responders
That
in
helped.
pay
That
raise.
right, that helped quite a bit. We were still not filling all of our positions, so Fort Bend County has a law enforcement academy. In order to become a certified peace officer, you have to pass a state exam. In order to pass the exam, most of these cadets, as we call them, those people who want to be a peace officer, go to an academy, a school,
Yeah.
if you would, to basically get enough information so they can pass the exam, enough education to pass the exam. And so I proposed that we were charging them, a few $1,000s to attend our academy. So I said, look, let's do two things. Let's pay for their tuition instead of making them pay, and then let's put some of them on our payroll so that we can pay them as they're going to.
As they're going through school.
Right.
You pay them. You pay the fees. You pay schooling fees, and then you pay them to go through it. I think that's
Stipend.
on the condition.
Yeah.
On the condition that they come to work for Fort Bend County.
yeah.
After they pass the test.
After they pass the test, they come to work. I think that's smart. It's a smart thing. That's
So-
how you get more recruitment, and you make it easy for them. You take care of the school fees, and then you have this condition. We'll pay you.
There's a lot of things that make Fort Bend a family-friendly community. For example, I built the very first youth cricket fields here in Fort Bend County.
Oh yeah, and we thank you for that. Cricket is thriving. Cricket is thriving. I didn't think
Yeah,
Dennis and Nikita. I did not think that cricket would really get here. I just thought, who really in America? I mean, people have football and basketball, but no, we've got fields. We got fields in Fort Bend.
Here.
But see, most-
Now, what I'm working on
Yeah.
is I'm working with the city of Sugar Land to build out what in essence is their Duhasset Park, which is on the edge of Sugar Land in the Aliana area, to build an adult cricket field. They're none out here. There's no adult cricket fields here.
Okay.
And actually, I'm now working with a group. I don't have their permission to name them, but I'm working with a group to bring a minor league cricket.
Wow, that's amazing. We're gonna have near Aliana. We're gonna have an adult cricket field. Whoa, let's go!
And we'll have 2 more cricket fields, maybe in Precinct 3, right here in Sugar Land.
Oh, really?
We don't
You're
have to
breaking
go-
news.
Yeah, we
Whoa.
don't have to go to Aliana
We're
or
gonna have
Katy.
2
Culture,
more cricket fields in Precinct 3.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, that's phenomenal. Just playing cricket, and I know it's just become such a Dennis people. It used to be. I used to play on the streets back home.
Sure.
Everybody's played in the streets. Here we have to go somewhere. We gotta and devoid of having places to go practice. It's like I'm kind of missing out.
Well, and what impresses me about
Wow.
Commissioner Myers is
That's awesome. That's awesome.
that he was the first
Thank
one to
you.
recognize the need that he is.
Thank you. Thank you. That's amazing.
Yeah.
He's the first one to recognize that we need this.
Yes, people
Because
ask
he
him about it.
understands the diversity in Fort Bend County.
And the key thing is knowing what my people need. How do I know what my people need? I go and meet them. I go and hear them. I'm sure when you were walking around at Holy, a lot of people saying, "Oh, Commissioner, let's get a photo." Okay? "Oh, Commissioner, we love it here." But I'm sure some people also will tell you, "Commissioner, we're not happy with this. Commissioner, we're not happy with that."
Well, I go and ask them what they want. I take the initiative to go to them and say, what is it that you need? What is it that
What
you
more
need?
can we do for you? I'm your commissioner.
What
What
do you
can I
want?
do for you? I think it's so important. Not just take pictures.
Yeah, people
Not
take
to take
pictures with
pictures.
him, and he takes their questions with him.
I think, is that the season, Nikita? Is it the fact that he knows 27 years? He knows his role. It takes a while, right? I've been doing radio for 30 years now. We started in 1993, and I feel like the last 5 years, I truly, for a while, the power got to me. I'm a DJ, I'm a radio, people know me. And then I realized, I truly am sharing music, information, what we are doing. It's connecting people. It took a while for me to get there. You think he's here because of the time that he's put in?
I think the time, the experience, the connections he has, he's the only one, who has personal phone numbers of the key legislators sitting in Austin.
So if anybody needs something that needs to be done, and if you think I can do it, you just call and get it done.
Not just call, he actually drives down to Austin
Wow.
with those requests and
Wow.
he gets them done.
I really ought to be standing. I really ought to be standing. This is why I love this country. This is why I love the people that represent us. You know, back when I was in Don Bosco High School, we used to choose a class monitor. We all elect a class monitor, but that power got every class monitor. It just got to him. And then he was a monitor. And then he was like, you know, hey, hey. But I think he's a different kind of monitor.
And you know what, I think I live in Katy, and Commissioner Meyers represented Katy for many, many years before redistricting. And so now our loss in Katy is the Sugar Land, Missouri City area gain. He came over here, he was redistricted, and he's looked around and he's seen the areas that need to be addressed.
Yeah.
And he's still talking with people, and now he's addressing those
But
needs.
to me, it's like he's bringing somebody's, you know, he's got the experience. Now I'm getting a seasoned, experienced person that knows how to do best for me in my county, how to make my life this amazing American life. And people have trusted him, and now that you're here. Wow. Okay, we'll talk about tax rate. Commissioner, we'll talk about tax rate. I know controlling spending and watching tax rate is very important to you. Can you tell us what you've done? This is important to you and important to me and important to you and you. We all, it's important. I don't want to pay too much. Frankly, I don't want to pay too much taxes. I really don't. I do understand that my money is being used well. I do understand that my money is, you know, whatever I'm paying, of course, schools and roads and infrastructure. But hey, look, can we minimize my taxes? Can you tell me what you've done?
Well, first of all, high taxes is not very family friendly.
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah.
it makes it more difficult for Fort Bend County to attract major industrial and manufacturing investments that create well-paying jobs, help broaden the tax base to help basically relieve some of the tax burden on our residential properties. I ran on a platform basically of reducing taxes. Fort Bend County had the highest tax rates in the whole region.
Oh, really?
And now we have one of the lower ones, and I'm trying to get it even lower because that is a way that you make it easier for families to afford their homes here. But also, we need to attract more businesses. Fort Bend County is basically a bedroom community with the majority of our people who are driving outside the county to work centers that are in Houston, Harris County, etc. I'd like to have a community where you not only live and play and worship here, you also work here. So having a lower tax rate is going to help us do that. At the same time, you need to make certain that you have enough tax revenue to provide the basic services that our people need. So you need to do it in a very compassionate manner.
Yeah, you got to be aware of
not
both
just-
sides.
yeah.
Not just like cut. Hey, this is
Yeah,
what
no.
people want. Let's cut it.
You don't use a hatchet to try to chop up the tax rate. And I do a lot of other things. For example, I've saved the taxpayers over $35 million by simply getting property owners and developers to donate land for 2 libraries, for several parks, for right-of-way, for roads, etc. You know, that's real savings to the taxpayers. They didn't have to pay out of their pocket. It benefited the developers and property owners because it brought a service to the community. You know, I'm the one member of court who consistently works at that. In fact, I'm currently working on not only Dehasik Park, which would cost the county nothing, it's already owned by the city of Sugar Land, but we also have several locations, for example, in Telfair that are drill sites that you can't use at all because of the state owns the mineral rights. Well, I happen to have a very good relationship with Don Buckingham.
Building relationships.
that-
relationships, and you've had them.
Yeah, Dr. Don Buckingham is our General Land Office Commissioner, so she is the land commissioner that is in charge of this. I have developed an excellent relationship with her over the years, so we're in negotiation with them to work out a deal where we can build some cricket fields. You know,
I love that. I love we're gonna have cricket fields, ladies and gentlemen. Cricket fields and 2 adult cricket, and adult field and possibly 2 in precinct 3. Wow. Okay, very good, very nice.
And taxes are not the only way that our people are unfortunately incurring additional costs of government. One of the things that we have in Fort Bend County, we're along a river, and obviously a river can cause flooding, and as a consequence, we built a lot of levees to protect some very high-value homes from being flooding. Well, those levees are lumped together with other, let's say, inferior levees, and as a consequence, under the rating that the federal government has in setting the flood insurance premiums, they've got us lumped together, and as a consequence, the flooded premium rates are higher than what we believe they should be, and they're continuing to go up. This year they've increased 18%. That's the maximum that federal law allows the insurance program
to increase. I see.
But unfortunately, it's going to increase 18% each year.
Okay.
Forward.
Okay.
What we're doing is working to prevent that from happening, and so we have a program in which we're working with the levy improvement districts, what we call them LIDs, and working with some consultants out of Washington D.C. to work with FEMA and work with the Corps of Engineers to make certain that our risks are properly rated, evaluated, and so that our premiums are not unreasonably high. Obviously, have to pay a reasonable premium.
Yeah, you got to pay.
But our premiums are are going to go up higher than they should be based on the fact that we have all certified levies, and so that's another aspect that I'm working on, and I'm going to be asking the community that live behind those levees if they're going to help me in that effort by signing a petition. We'll get all that information to them here shortly, but signing a petition basically is going not just to FEMA and to the Corps of Engineers, but to our congressional delegation, our U.S. senators, and our House of Representatives here in this area to say, just treat us fairly. All we're asking for is fairness.
You know what I'm thinking about is for a lot of people, a lot of businesses, a lot of homes, it's just maintaining my home. I got a home, I got to maintain, I got a job, I got to maintain my job. But I think for you, there's the dynamics of ever evolving and growing and doing things, getting things done. I'm not just maintaining my house and my job, which also needs maintenance and getting things done, but you are constantly, we're building beside my house every year. Just I add a room, I add more rooms because I've got more people. So you got this task of, there's just so much that you got to do, and who you know plays such a key role. Who you know, so that you can call them. The relationship that you've made over the years, that's how you get things done.
Well, you have to have a trusting relationship with the people. They need to have some trust in what you're telling them is factual, accurate, that you're not you're not trying to sell them something. You're basically providing them with facts and making your argument that this is not fair and we need to do something that's equitable.
This is not just a job, Dennis and Nikita. And you see how long does he work? Because this is not a job. This is life.
Yeah, it's an ongoing commitment.
It's
he's a
like a lifelong commitment, it seems.
Yes, yeah, and he's a numbers guy. Let me tell you that. Behind every reason, he got to have the stats, the numbers, and that's how he makes his case. One thing about taxes, I want to tell you, people feel like we need the tax money. Otherwise, how are we going to keep and maintain our infrastructure?
Yeah.
I understand, yes, we got to pay our taxes, and we need those taxes, and we call him taxpayer's best friend. He is for lowering taxes, but that doesn't mean he doesn't want taxes. What he wants is he wants those taxes to be utilized in the right way. Mm-hmm. Now, the other thing, like I said, we need tax money. So, but the most of the burden of the tax is on the homeowners, and he's working on how to, bring in that revenue from a different source and expand our tax base.
And how to bring in companies, corporates, create jobs, increase jobs. What have you seen him? He's talking about attracting and give tax breaks and let's bring it. We are a bedroom community, but now that after COVID, everybody's working from home.
Well, let me tell you specifically the things that I'm doing. One of the things that I serve on Fort Bend Economic Development Council, And we always have prospects, as we call them, to bring a major investment into Fort Bend County. And we kept losing them to other areas. We had a $5 billion investment for a battery manufacturing operation that went to Tennessee. And when I asked, I said, okay, I'm a problem solver. What's the problem? What problem do we have? Well, the problem we have is we don't have a ready-made site that they could locate on. For example, the reason they moved to Tennessee is because Tennessee already had a site that was ready to go, and they could put their facility, design and put their facility on there a lot quicker. So I said, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to craft legislation and then get it passed that allows us to create industrial development districts that will be able to develop these sites so they're ready to go, so that when it gives this region in Texas an advantage from the standpoint that we already have ready-made sites located in industrial.
Yeah, if you don't have a site, then they're going to go to Tennessee and
So I got Commissioners Court to create a committee that is essentially going to be working on that to accomplish that, to bring these here. We're also got a meeting set up with our state senators to talk to them about this specifically, that's going to not only, it's going to help bring those investments to Fort Bend County. That's going to generate some very high-paying jobs. In addition, as was mentioned earlier, it's going to help broaden the tax base. Right now, our residential properties pay 82.5% of the taxes paid to the county. It needs to be more of a 60-40 instead of an 80-20 or even a 50-50, where you have more even split between commercial properties and residential properties, so that you can lower the tax rate and actually generate more tax revenue for the service that you want to provide. So that's one of the objectives. That's one of the main objectives that I have. As I said earlier, I want a community where you not only live, worship and pray and play,
and celebrate, play cricket.
but you also,
that's the biggest news today, that we're going to have 2 more cricket fields.
but we have
And you support it. And
have a community where you can also work, and
Yeah.
that's very important
worship
to me.
and work. Very important. Commissioner, any concerns in the direction of our county, where our county is going? Are there any concerns? Do you see any concerns? It is obviously, everybody knows it's a wonderful place to live. Everybody across the U.S., when I say I live in Sugar Land, Fort Bend, now everybody knows Fort Bend.
Right.
People know Fort Bend. People know Sugar Land. People know Precinct 3.
As I said earlier, it didn't happen by accident. It was planned and was executed, and I intend to keep it that way. Again, one of my biggest concerns is the tax rate. It is hindering our ability to bring, those industrial manufacturing investments that's going to create these jobs. It's also make it a little bit more difficult for people to afford a home. For example, I was at the state of the county address, in which one of the nonprofits pointed out that there are 17,000 families that's on the verge of losing their home and becoming homeless in this community. And I said, well, so we got
in Fort Bend.
right in Fort Bend County, 17,000
Wow.
homes,
Homeowners
17,000
about to lose homes.
70,000 families
Wow.
are about to lose.
This
their
is
homes.
after COVID, during COVID.
It's right now, today.
Oh,
That's
today?
not my statistics. That's statistics of
In Fort Bend.
in Fort Bend. So I said, well, the last thing we need to do is increase the taxes on their house.
Yeah, that's true.
not going to help them keep their house if we're going to increase
17,000. That's real stats, and that's Nikita. You were saying he's a numbers guy.
Yes.
So when you get a number like that, 17,000 homes.
So I'm concerned about that. I want to make certain that we have enough funds to provide the basic services we have. There's no question about that. But there's a smart way to spend the taxpayers' money, and there's a not so smart way to spend the taxpayers' money. And one other thing, very early in my career, I'm a financial guy. I have a financial background. I have a master's degree in finance and economics, and I hold a certified public accountant's license. So I know a little bit about finance and a little bit about economics. And one of the things that I want to make certain is that everybody is treated equally, that we are focused on making certain we spend our taxpayers' dollars as prudently as we can. As a consequence, one of the first things that I did is I proposed the creation of a professional budget office. We never had one before, so that we could get control of spending, which helps us reduce taxes.
Professional budget office.
We started at 60.
Isn't that what the Commissioner's Court does?
Right. Commissioners Court is the governing body of the county. We approve expenditures, we approve the budget, and we approve the tax rate.
What is our total Fort Bend County budget?
It's a little over half $500 million.
$500
Plus $1 million.
million.
Right. So, in
Wow.
one of the things I want to make certain is that we are carefully scrutinizing and watching our expenditures. That's the reason we have a professional budget office to do that. And that has enabled us to reduce the tax rate from 66 to 44 cents, a reduction of a third that has saved taxpayers $1 billion over that period of time, is continuing to save them money. And so that's one of the things that I have some concerns about. I want to make certain that we continue to maintain that tight control over spending so that we can continue to keep our taxes going down, so that we are more competitive in attracting those industrial manufacturing investments to Fort Bend County, create jobs here. We have a very highly educated populace here. Very diverse,
especially Precinct 3.
Right.
Very rich with the Indo-American community and so many other.
A whole lot of smart people.
Yeah.
One of the things that I proposed, legislation I got introduced in this last legislative session was for the creation of an advanced research institute for the state of Texas. There's no state that has an advanced research institute. We have 13 U.S. what they call them national laboratories that do basic research, but no state has one, and there's no national lab that's located.
So
in
what you're talking about is a statewide research institute, but in Fort Bend.
Well, one of the things I wanted to do, we have 160. Let me rephrase it. University of Houston has 167 acres right here in Fort Bend County, at the corner.
Crown Festival Park.
Right. Well, basically at the corner of University and 59.
Prime location.
They're right across the street from
Smart Financial Center.
Well, it's not just Smart Financial Center, but Texas Instruments has their research center right across the street from this property. And I'm on the advisory board for the University of Houston Sugar Land operation, and I've been advocating for them to look at expanding their research operations and locating their research operation to Fort Bend County. You've got the acreage here, you don't have it downtown where you're at, so you can more easily expand here. And I also was working with the governor's office with regard to getting funding, that would come to the University of Houston for their research effort, looking for them to partner with Rice, with the Texas Medical Center and other institutions to do some basic and advanced research that will create value for our whole community, but very importantly, create some very high-paying jobs right here in Fort Bend County and put Fort Bend County on the map of being one of the research centers in the state of Texas, if not the country.
My two takeaways are cricket fields and bring more jobs and
taxes.
Low taxes. Low taxes not just for people and homeowners, but also for corporates to bring in. That's some two amazing takeaways I have. Dennis, I'm going to ask you a question, and Nikita, I'm going to ask you a question too. So this is going to be a very important election, 2024. We're on the cusp. I feel like we're on the cusp of something big. Of course, Fort Bend Brewing has been a wonderful place, and I heard about that how good a place it is when I came here long ago, and I moved here because my brother was here. But truly, the next 5 years, the next 10 years is going to be just like an astronomical shift for our county, because everybody in the U.S. knows about who we are, what we're doing, an amazing place this is. So, election coming up. How do you feel? How will we position? We've got a lot of candidates. How does our commissioner, in your eyes, what do you think makes our commissioner the best candidate?
Well, it's hard to decide where to start, but it's his knowledge, his connections statewide, that helps to get things done. He's a problem solver. He also was here when all of this was built. He's one of the people who made all this happen. We have such a wonderful, diverse community because of Commissioner Andy Meyers and the decisions that have been made. And when you watch the Commissioners Court meetings, he's always the one that will say, hey guys, let's talk about this a little more. He's the one that will ask the tough questions and kind of bring everybody back to reality. And without him on the court, it'll be a different situation. I think that he needs to be reelected. We need him on Commissioner's Court for another term. He has the knowledge, he has the experience, he has the connections, and he cares.
The knowledge, the experience, the connection, and he cares. And I certainly know that he, to me, like I say, I am an American of Indian descent. I know that he cares about everybody, and I certainly know that he cares about diversity. You represent diversity. You are smart. You are well spoken. You know how our policies are created. You see him in and out. How important do you think diversity is to our commissioner?
Look, diversity should be important, but the way I see this is he cares for all the citizens equally. He doesn't think, okay, I got to do this for Indian Americans, I got to do this for Pakistani Americans, I got to do this for African American people or white people. No, on his mind, we are all equal, just one people. We are precinct 3, we are taxpayers, we are homeowners, and that's who he fights for. I've never, in my 7 months, he's never addressed anybody by their race or ethnicity. We are all taxpayers, we are equal. Yes, education matters, and that's why precinct 3, or I would say Fort Bend County, let's not just isolate all the other counties, but the Fort Bend County is very educated.
Yeah.
And that's why,
especially precinct 3.
Yes.
But Nikita, my question was that there are people, so there are we just tied a Rocky, he just tied, Tara Narasimhan tied a Rocky on him.
Yeah.
So new realm, new areas, things that, he did not know. To me, he's very receptive.
Very
Receptive to different cultures.
I agree.
And that is what diversity brings in. Things that I am Indian, I know my Rocky Tying Festival, okay, so I don't know much about the Chinese Lunar Festival. If I was elected official, I need to be a person
he's always ready to learn.
Ready to learn, and be absorbed, be immersed. That's what I saw.
Exactly, yeah.
That's what I saw, and just today was an example.
He respects all the cultures and everything.
Very respectful,
yes.
very immersive, open to learn.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. So what do you think is his best quality? Dennis spoke so many things that, what is his best quality that makes him like a class monitor, a good class monitor? When I was in Don Bosco High School, we had to pick a class monitor, certain things that we were looking for. What is his best quality?
I think the best thing about him is he's very approachable. I want to mention this again and again.
And I like what you said earlier. It's not just approachable. It's not just taking pictures.
Yeah.
Because he represents us, but it's also, hey, what can I do for you?
Yeah, exactly.
What is your problem?
And he will work on those questions. He'll work on those requests.
I would not. Yeah. If I was Dennis, I probably would shy away from that because if I ask, hey Dennis, what's wrong? You're gonna say, hey, that paint is peeling. There's a pothole. There's this. I'd be like, oh my God, I don't want to open up this. But he seems to understand his job as our class monitor.
He moves fast. Don't get in his wake.
Yeah.
Because it's just amazing how quickly he moves, and I can't get ahead of him. I just hope to keep up with him because he just moves fast. He processes a lot of things quickly, and he's a problem solver.
And he cares.
And he cares.
Yeah.
And he truly cares.
And he loves the job. I mean, he loves the job.
that is another takeaway. You got to love what you do.
Right.
And he loves the job. Obviously you do. You love your job, and it's tough. It's tough because this is like a 24. This is 24/7. This is not 9 to 5.
Well, this gives me an opportunity to serve my fellow man. Frankly, the reality is I can retire today and actually make more money.
Yeah, because with all the knowledge and all the people
with the length of service I've had and my age together, I can make 50% more money retired than I can working. But I love my job. I love serving the people, and I'm willing to sacrifice that to continue doing what I've been doing.
And you love people. You just love the job, and he loves people.
He does.
So much that, you know, he had a charity, and with his late wife, Janet, who passed away earlier this year, they had raised over $2 million, and just to help women, children, and homeless people.
Wow. And that watch is a gift. Is that sir a gift from
This watch will be soon be 40 years old.
This is a 40-year-old Rolex.
Right. My
Yo.
wife gave it to me for my 40th birthday,
Oh,
and she said it was going to be either this or a red Porsche, and I said I'd rather have the watch because it's going to last a lot.
it's gonna
longer.
last a lot longer.
A lot longer, and I still wear it every day. It still works. It's a great watch, and more importantly, it was a gift from my wife. So it's very special to me, and they'll bury me with it because I'm not leaving it to my kid. I'm taking it with me.
Sir, I'm honored. I really, truly am honored that it is because of people like you, and we have a lot of great people like you in this country that makes our country amazing. That truly makes our
It
country
is truly my privilege
the
to
best
serve.
country
It is my honor and my privilege to serve. It really is. It's my privilege. It's truly an honor, and I'm so grateful that the people of this community have allowed me to serve them for this long a period of time.
And I'm just gonna go back this one last time. When I was in class in Don Bosco High School, and we're A B C D E F G, and the class that had the best class monitor, that had the most caring, listening, concern, approachable class, everybody in that class did really well.
Of course.
In sports, in studies, in projects, they all did well because anytime there's something concern or teams or education or after class, or I could go to my monitor, he could get things done. Everybody benefits.
Think
You know,
about
all of us in this country are essentially immigrants. I'm the descendant of an immigrant. My grandfather, my mother's father, was born in Kristiansand, Norway. He stowed away on a boat at the age of 15 years of age, came to the United States, jumped ship, couldn't speak the language, and by the time he was 26 years old, he was captain of his own ship. And
Vikings.
married my grandmother. My mother was their seventh of 11 children, you know, so I guess you could say I'm the descendant of an illegal alien. He came to the U.S. obviously without any papers or anything of that nature, but I'm certainly glad that he did, because that you know, it's allowed me to be here in this great country.
That's who we are. That's this country, and this is a country of immigrants. And you know, the more I live here, the more I realize that I'm always going to be here. Nikita, tell us, can you give us an idea? Election dates, very important for everybody. We make our country great. We allow good people to lead us, to represent us. And that's how we make our class. My class is amazing because my class monitor is amazing. He gets everybody, he brings everybody better. He makes everybody better. He has made people better. When this is important to us. When is the election date? What do we do? How do people get involved? Where do people go? I know there's a website, Commissioner Andy Meyers on Facebook, but give us the election dates.
And people can go there and sign up to join the campaign. Commissioner Meyers has the dates of the elections.
I do.
Do we?
Okay.
It's February,
Yeah.
March.
March.
Primaries are in March 2024, and then the general elections are in November 2024.
Same time
So
with the
yes,
presidential.
we are requesting everybody to go out and vote in both the elections, not just the general ones, but also the primaries, because they're very important.
Well, the primary, you obviously have two political party primaries. One is a Republican primary and one is a Democrat primary. And the voters have a choice of whether they can't go to both. They got a choice between the two of them.
In the primary, you don't, but general election, you can vote.
Right.
Everybody can vote for Andy Meyers.
Correct.
Democrats or Republicans.
That's correct. But hopefully, we'll have the people go vote in the Republican primary. That's going to be a very interesting election, particularly with regard to the presidential election.
Yeah, I
You
know.
have-
It is
you
going to
have-
be massive. This year is going to be the most turnout.
Well,
it is going to be massive.
You also have some interesting candidates, one of which is an Indian American. Well, actually, you have two. That are
That's
Indian
true, that's
American that are. I would consider them in the top three of the candidates that are out there right now.
It's crazy. Everybody knows before the
Nikki
debate.
Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy.
Before the debate, it was a lot of people, a lot of newscasters, and people like Ransamy. Now, after the debate, everybody knows Ramaswamy.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about. Although it's got some crazy radical ideas at times, but you know what? I mean,
Well, don't count Nikki Haley out.
That's true.
Yeah, that's
She
right.
is a very formidable candidate, very smart. You got two very, very, very smart candidates.
Yeah, we do.
That it helps a whole lot to have a highly intelligent, smart, capable leader. I have to say that, in my opinion, they're a whole lot smarter than our present president. That may or may not be a very high hurdle, but it helps to be really smart, and both of them are very smart and very capable and very knowledgeable people.
Leading this precinct 3 or county or state or this country over the next 4 years or the next 8 years is going to be such a challenge. We very interesting times.
We are very interesting times, and this is kind of a turning. To me, this is kind of a turning point with regard to what direction this country as a whole is going to go in, and also what direction the state of Texas and Fort Bend County is going to go in. There's a right path, there's a positive path for a family-friendly, safe community, and there's unfortunately another path that other people have taken where they have you have so many people who are leaving the communities, because they're not safe. They can't find a job that pays them very well, and they don't get the kind of education you get here. So we don't want that to happen in Fort Bend County. We don't want it to happen in the state of Texas, and frankly, we don't want to have it happen to the United States.
All I wanted to do, what I'm doing now, I love my job too. And if I was in India, I know that I wouldn't. This is not what I'd be doing. But it all came to fruit because I truly believe of this country. I love Texas and I love this county. And you've served that county for 27 years. And whether I'm precinct 1 or 2 or 3, I'm not talking about that. That doesn't matter. You and everybody in your team that has served Fort Bend. We are who we are. It's an amazing county, and my dreams have come true. And many more dreams are gonna come true. Many more lives. We're gonna reach 1 million people shortly, and many more lives, and many more children, many more families are gonna live their dream in this county. But we gotta choose well. Next year's very important election. Somebody that Dennis says is not just smart, not just approachable, but caring and love to do what they're doing and love people.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your
thank
service.
Thank you for this opportunity.
And also, last thing is, yeah, I'm American of Indian descent. So my heritage is very important to me. You are very receptive. You're like a sponge. You want to learn. Just today, you tied Taraji, president of Hindus of Greater Houston, tied a Rakhi on you. And that loving hug, and you're very receptive, and I saw that at Holi and Diwali, and I love that, and I want somebody that is a sponge and wants to absorb my culture and other cultures too, but my culture is very important to me, and I know you respect that, and I know you want to learn more, and that's why you're here, and that's why go to the temples and meet our people. And you were not just walking around Holi just taking pictures, but you were talking to people, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Commissioner Andy Meyers, current Commissioner Andy Meyers, Precinct 3, election next year. And this entire hour-long episode is going to be on our YouTube, and I want everybody to watch it, the entire show. Truly gives you an idea who our commissioner really is. And we got Nikita Khambe. Thank you for coming here, Nikita.
Thank you, Sunil, for giving us the opportunity to speak.
And you too are, you two are involved in making our precinct 3 the best precinct. You are, what you're doing now goes to that effort.
I mean, my goal is to, like I said, serve the community and just help Commissioner Myers understand the population that he has in this precinct and make sure, that he is serving everybody. And that's his goal. He has told all of us, bring me all the requests, make sure I know everything, that I don't miss on anything. So
Yeah, talk to me.
Yes,
Talk
that's
to me.
my
What
job.
are your concerns? How can I make things better?
Right.
And Dennis has brought in his creativity, and your, I should be an expert at coming up with a nice script, succinct and expressive, but you really know how to put words together to express what's in his heart.
Well, thank you. He does a good job of that himself.
Yeah, I mean, it has to start. It's got to
He really
start.
does.
It's got. You're the director, but if your actor in front of the camera is just not expressive, then there's only so much you can do.
I learn something new every day from Commissioner Randy Meyers.
It's a good teamwork, yeah.
A great team,
Great office, yes.
good team, good office.
I'm really good about assembling a really, really, really great, effective.
Choosing the right
team.
people.
Right.
Choosing the right people.
And I have done so. We have
You
4 people who are just outstanding in what they do. I'll put up my staff against any other staff in the state of Texas, and we'll come out on top, because we have a team that is, first of all, they're smart. Second of all, they're hard workers, and thirdly, they have a lot of experience and they're able to get things done. So they're essential to my success and the success of Precinct 3 and the success of Fort Bend County and the success of the state of Texas.
Our structure is such that anybody and everybody, and we welcome and I salute everybody that's currently serving. Our show goes from Cypress down to Alvin and everywhere, and Ken Matthew, our new mayor of Stafford, everybody that's serving our community, whether you served in the armed forces or you're serving as a patrol officer, you're serving our community, thank you so much, and we salute you. And our process is such, our amazing process, our democratic process is such that if I wanna challenge him, I can. And it's okay, and he's gonna and we're gonna get together on stage or wherever, and we're gonna greet each other and be nice and respectful to each other. And so this amazing process is unfolding. Next year is gonna be a big, vital, big election. It's important for us though to make that choice and make that right choice. Right now, I've got Andy Meyers, who's such an amazing, genuine person. The thing that I take away is genuine. He's doing it because he really cares and he loves people and he loves his job. It has been my pleasure to talk to all of you. Dennis Spellman.
Thank you, Sunil.
Commissioner
It's awesome
Myers.
being here.
Thank you very much.
Nikita Hambe.
Thank you. And to listeners, who have recently joined or who have missed the show, Sunil, please, share the YouTube link
Yes.
on your Facebook account. And if you want to read more about Commissioner Myers, please visit www.andymyers.com.
MEYERS.
AndyMyers.com. Long live this country.
Thank you.